From mansions and ancient churches to the giant Buzludzha Monument. These are 7 strange abandoned buildings in Europe. Number 7. Zelodom Belarus. This mansion was built in 1908 by the Czerwiński family, a Polish princely family with a history dating back to 1388. The family has a long, boring history of nobility. Most notably, they were forced to flee to Russia in 1794 during a villager uprising. Nowadays, the mansion/palace is owned by the Defense Ministry of Belarus, but it doesn't look like they have any plans for the complex. Looking at it from above, you can see that there's no paved roads to even get there. The palace had a guest wing, a windmill, a blacksmith shop, and a cute little water pond tying it all together. It is unclear why this building was abandoned in 1939. Ooh. Now that I think about it, it's pretty clear why. Number 6. House of 1,000 Windows, Ukraine. Found this one by accident. Nothing interesting to report here. Just an abandoned co-op apartment building that some urban explorer nicknamed the House of 1,000 Windows. I even managed to find it on Google Maps. I believe this is the same building, but from above. If someone knows the details about this place and why it hasn't been leveled yet, let us know in the comments. If I had to guess, the building was built sometime in the 70s when the USSR ran things around here. After the fall of the Soviet Union, the co-op survived for a few more years until money troubles surfaced, and one by one, all the families were gone by the 2000s. But that's just like my opinion, man. Number 5. Abandoned churches, Russia. Honestly, it's really hard to find information about these beautiful abandoned churches scattered across the harsh Russian landscape. This one is the oldest church in the Transbaikalia region. Yes, it is as remote as it sounds. Called the Church of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin, the building is in critical condition. If something is not done soon to restore the damage, it will be lost forever. It's crazy to think that it was built in 1706. However, this beauty, located in eastern Russia, is in luck. The church has been abandoned for decades, but there are efforts to conserve its history. It was also built in the 1700s, and it was originally a female monastery in honor of the Annunciation of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And finally, we have the Church of the Resurrection of Christ in the small village of Pisovo. It was built no earlier than 1748, but it is definitely in the worst condition of the 3. It's pretty much just ruins. The big tower was actually a clock, and I assume an accurate one. Number 4. Czarlica Palace, Greece. Once considered one of the most beautiful hotels in all of Greece, Czarlica Palace was the place to be on the small island of Lesbos. Built in 1909, while the island was still under Ottoman rule, the hotel's name translates to the Palace of the Yellow Spring. It had nothing to do with weather and everything to do with the healing hot springs surrounding it. Czarlica was not built for the average tourist either. Nobility and all-around rich people were the only ones that could afford to enjoy this now decrepit building. I am not 100% sure why the hotel closed down, but if I was a betting man, I'd bet it had to do with money mismanagement. The main building is seriously falling apart, and nothing has come from local restoration efforts. It looks like Czarlica Palace is destined to collapse and be forgotten. Number 3. Berengaria Hotel, Cyprus. Opened in 1931, the Berengaria Hotel in the mountains of Cyprus offered a place to relax and be surrounded by nature. It was definitely not a place for common folk, and it was advertised as a luxury retreat. Having great amenities including a nightclub and a casino was definitely a plus for anyone that wanted to spend some more money while vacationing. However, by the 1980s, mismanagement resulted in a fall from grace. The bad management can be attributed to the fast change in ownership. The original creator of the hotel retired and left the business to his 3 sons, who in turn ruined everything. I don't know about you, but this hotel is definitely hauntingly beautiful. What do you think? Would you spend a night in this now derelict building? Number 2. Restaurante Panoramico, Portugal. Back in the 1960s, a brand new restaurant with futuristic architecture opened in Lisbon, Portugal. The Restaurante Panoramico set up high on a hill and overlooked the heart of Lisbon. The architecture was ahead of its time. Back then, it looked like a work of art, not a restaurant. This, combined with its view of Lisbon, was the perfect combination for attracting customers willing to pay. Unfortunately, the amazing view was a blessing and a curse. A general disinterest settled among Lisbon citizens and tourists because it was so far out of the way from public transport in the main downtown area. Also, it was one of those experiences where once someone visited, they never needed to come back. The restaurant officially closed in 2001 and the building has been abandoned ever since. Now, it looks like it could be a great set for a sci-fi or thriller movie, but efforts to renovate it always fall short. Everyone wants it to be preserved, but unfortunately, nobody is willing to do the work. At least the views are still nice. Number 1. Buzludzha, Bulgaria. The hills of Buzludzha and nearby Shipka have great historical significance for the people of Bulgaria. A lot of blood was shed here before the liberation of Bulgaria from Ottoman rule. In 1891, the mountain peak was chosen for the first Congress of the Bulgarian Social Democratic Workers' Party, which later became the Bulgarian Communist Party. In 1974, Communist Party leaders started the construction of the so-called Monument House of the Bulgarian Communist Party, commemorating the first communist meeting in 1891. Some 10 years later, the monument was completed. I was lucky enough to visit this place, and boy is it awesome. Before you get to the actual structure, you pass through this giant sculpture of two hands holding torches. One symbolizing the brotherhood of communism, the hands are now littered with graffiti. When you get to the top of the 4,698-foot peak, you're welcomed by the giant saucer-shaped monument. Walking up the steps is pretty eerie, especially when you're the only person there. Near the entrance of the building, huge cement letters tell the story of oppression and the light at the end of the tunnel that communism brings. It's pretty powerful rhetoric, and I guess at the time, people believed in what it said. But judging by the chained-up doors and crumbling steps, the message was lost at some point. Speaking of the chained-up doors, I was really trying to get inside. Then I noticed a little police booth hidden to the left of the entrance. I offered the security guard some money, but he would not let me in. Said it was too dangerous. I guess I just wasn't lucky enough, since I have seen plenty of photos from the inside. Walking around the building, you really get a sense of how big it is. The giant red star still shines on top of the tower, and it would have been pretty cool to get a view from up there, since there is stairs inside. Everywhere you look, there was graffiti. Considering the place has been abandoned since the fall of communism in 1989, it's no wonder. What do you think? Should structures like this be cleaned up and protected more? On the inside, the most stunning piece of the monument was its roof. Nowadays, you can barely read out what it said. The future of Buzludzha is unknown. There's always talks about renovating it and turning it into a tourist destination, but it really doesn't seem likely. The road leading up to it is littered with potholes, and there's barely any signs on how to even get there. The more popular Shipka monument that's only 15 minutes away brings in a lot more visitors. And not surprisingly, you can see the Buzludzha Monument from there as well. Really, you can see the Buzludzha Monument from almost all the towns surrounding it. This video was taken from a road in the valleys below. I guess they chose a great location to showcase the power of communism, at least while they had it. Check out the featured comment below, subscribe for more World Unearthed, and I'll see you in the next video.